Filming, ready? What are we filming today?
What everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah, the MK5 all-wheel drive conversion car. So this would be, I think, part 5. It's part 5, yeah. So
everybody's been waiting for it. It's like the most commented thing that we always get on every video, no matter what we do.
Yeah. So this isn't going to be exactly what everybody wants, but this is one step closer into getting the car done.
And definitely showing why it's been a bit of a delay as well.
Been a big delay, and there's a reason. Because there's a slew of parts that have shown up for this thing and that we've been waiting to get, because there's going to be a whole bunch of changes with it. So on top of doing the all-wheel drive swap, Clayton, anything that I'm forgetting during this, try to remind me. But on top of doing the all-wheel drive swap, in the previous video you would see that we did, we'll link it above, 450 is the most it ever did. I think here was doing like 400 wheel. The owner wants to make a few hundred more horsepower than that. So we have a tall task at hand to get there. In doing so, we have a bunch of parts and that are required to get us to that power level and to keep the car going and doing exactly what the guy wants it to do. Okay, some of the parts that we've been waiting for, one of them was an upgraded gear set. So we got a 3rd through 6th gear set. Clayton will add all this in.
And as you were saying, it's full synchro gear set as well still, but it's more of a straight cut gear.
Yeah, straight cut gear, but still synchro. So it'll be easy to drive on the street. We're tearing the engine apart because obviously we're shooting for a few more 100 horsepower. So this had stock, it's actually there on the stand. It has stock pistons, although it has upgraded rods. So we're doing pistons, and we're doing larger valves and valve springs, basically all redoing the head over. So we have SuperTech springs and valves, larger valves. Also we have KDN shifter going in it, which we're also going to modify the lockout to work in this car as well. So we're going to have the shifter lockout, which isn't currently offered for the MK5 6s and 7s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because of the console and stuff, and it sticks out further.
That's right. So he's developing.
So we're gonna, Dave and I are gonna work together to try to get that figured out on this car. Upgraded differential. So we're putting a Peloquins diff in the tranny, and one of the big upgrades is the Civex standalone. So we're kind of going full bore with this thing. We want to do multi-port injection and want to have full control over the thing. So we're going to add 4 additional port injectors like a lot of the MK7s do now, which is easily programmed through the ECU. On these older cars, that's not possible. So we're going to do a full flex fuel tune on it as well. Obviously all that stuff's to come, but as you can tell, that's a lot of parts and a lot of dollars to get the parts to handle the power that we're shooting for with it. So
and also a lot of planning on your behalf as well, trying to
getting all this stuff from
it's not everybody's making this power.
Yeah, on the TSI, on this Gen 1, Gen 2 style TSI, the E888 or whatever, there's not a ton of people globally that have made that power. Yes, there have been people to make this power, but there's not a lot, so there's very limited resources.
And the people that have had spent the money to do so.
Yep. So this is going to be a super unique car. It is already, but we're going to do a very stout power plant in it, and that's why it's been so long for the all-wheel drive stuff. So we are going to do some all-wheel drive. We're going to explain some of the transmission stuff, get the transmission apart, and we're going to get the head off and stuff like that in this video. So let's get to work, Clayton. Okay, first things first. This is a GTI front-wheel drive transmission. As you can see, no angle drive. Here's the angle drive required to send power to the back of the car. On the early O2Qs, and I think the O2Ms originally, they had the bosses provisioned into the case already to mount up the angle drive.
Which only makes sense. I mean, Volkswagen's fairly smart with, you know, trying to keep more platform stuff. They don't want to make a ton of different cases and a ton of different setups. So if they can have one casting for stuff, they will. So a lot of the cases early on have these already in place and threaded and ready to bolt on an angle drive. The catch is you can't just take this axle cup out and put this on and expect to have all-wheel drive. It doesn't work that way. The key factor to making this work with a front-wheel drive transmission is the differential inside. It needs to have an all-wheel drive diff. So in this case, instead of spending the money on getting an all-wheel drive transmission with an all-wheel drive differential in it, we just opted to upgrade the differential. Which a lot of the times is...
Yeah, same price.
Yeah.
Basically, it was the same cost for me to get an upgraded differential, to rebuild this transmission, and bolt on the angle drive. So now you have an upgrade, and he already had a good transmission. In fact, two, because he kind of wrecked one.
Yeah. So instead of spending the money on an all-wheel drive tranny with no actual diff in it, well,
upgraded diff.
Not upgraded diff anyway, you get an upgraded diff and reuse your old stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfect scenario.
Exactly. So that's what's happening with this one. You need the angle drive, of course, and you need, if you plan on using your stock GTI transmission, Mark 5, Mark 6, you need to make sure you have the threaded holes. I don't know if this one's actually threaded. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, and the other one is.
And if it's not,
you need the angle drive.
If it's not threaded though, you could probably just tap it out. Or?
I don't know how they come not threaded. Like, I don't know what they look like. I don't have one here right now.
Okay.
It's either filled in. I mean, you could maybe make it work, but there's lots of Mark 5s and Mark 6s.
If the holes are there and they're threaded, chances are you're good to go.
It on. Yeah. So the key is you need the the key is you need, yes, the angle drive, but you need the all-wheel drive differential to make it all work. So we're going to tear this apart. We got the other one already torn apart. You'll see it in a second. And start putting in the gear set and the differential to start getting the all-wheel drive transmission together. So we decided to show you what we were talking about. So take the axle cup out, and this fits in here. Not really, but it sort of does, to give you an idea. The holes line up, they would bolt in. This would press in further, but because the diff itself is different, it only engages the axle. So it's only engaging this. It's not engaging this part. So,
and like we were showing, or what we were looking at, is that
I'll grab the all-wheel drive differential, and then this is splined here, which it's splined on the inside here. So with the all-wheel drive diff, they connect together to be able to. This is heavy stuff. Spin all of it.
Yeah. So it spins not just the axle, but the actual angle drive.
You ready to take this off?
Yeah.
You got the muscles?
That's born right.
Straight up. Straight up. Dave, what are you doing? I'm beating this cylinder head off. Kid show.
Excuse me?
Yes. Taking all the valves out because we're putting bigger valves in it, as I mentioned earlier in the video.
So you're just getting ready to get this sent out, and
yeah, we're taking it all apart and send it off to our friendly cylinder head shop.
Neighborhood cylinder shop.
Yeah. We're gonna get the valve seats cut because it's going 1 mil over, and as mentioned, there's my phone. Surprise. And we're doing heavy duty valve springs. Try to get some more RPM out of this.
Sweet.
Because we're gonna put a bigger turbo on it. I forgot to mention that at the beginning.
Yeah, bigger turbo.
It's getting a bigger
which
turbo.
we don't have here yet.
That's one thing that's undecided yet. I gotta do my homework because I have a goal to reach with it. And if you have an idea what we're trying to shoot for horsepower, remember this is a street car. Comment below what you think we're gonna try to get out of it. The most it made was 450. So we're doing some upgrades Clayton has an idea what we're shooting for. And obviously so does the owner. So the valves are out. Just wanted to show you guys. Obviously if you own a direct port injected engine, you know that the real common problem is carbon buildup. Now this engine is really clean. It has very low kilometers. It's been apart several times and cleaned, but even still runs water meth injection. Even still, you can see the carbon buildup on these valves. So again, these would be considered clean, and they're still nasty looking. So even in here, Clayton, if you want to film, it's probably harder with the light, but you can see how the inlet ports are just.
You can't really see it, but just take our word for it.
I'll
It
get a
looks
light.
like it looks
I'll get
like
a light.
all right, get the light.
Light.
Lighting. Oh yeah, nasty.
And again, this would be considered clean. You can see how gummy it is. Anyways, on the new setup, again, we're going to have multi-port injectors. So 4 direct port injectors, 4 port injectors into the IE intake manifold. So this problem will be gone. We're going to eliminate this whole nonsense of carbon buildup on the intake valves by adding a bunch more fuel on top of them. Did we give a good update?
I hope so.
Yeah, it's not specifically all-wheel drive related.
And it's not specifically getting the car ready right now.
No, obviously, as you've seen, there's a lot of stuff happening with this thing. Hence why it's been a couple of months since we've updated it last.
A lot of the stuff had to be ordered, which takes a while.
Yeah, the gear sets were a while, the differential, there's quite a few
Standalone was
things.
a little bit
Oh yeah, the standalone too, that came from
away.
Germany or somewhere, I can't remember now. But we are a Cyvex dealer, so if you're looking to get Cyvex for your Lambo or your R8 or your GTI, we can gear you up. And again, when we started doing the all-wheel drive stuff, this really wasn't quite in the works. We had kind of talked about it, but since we had the car, the owner was like, more power, more power, more power. So, hence why we've gone 10 steps back, but we're gonna get there.
Yeah, it seems like we went from like, the 3rd or 4th floor from awesomeness to like well beyond the 20th, 30th floor.
Yeah.
It just keeps
Yeah, it
adding
keeps
on
getting
and on.
better and better. So, if you got any questions or comments, obviously ask them below. There's tons of stuff happening with this one. We'll be back to the all-wheel drive stuff probably in the next video. In regards to this car, we'll be probably assembling the transmission, the gear set, and getting the diff in, getting all that done. So that might be just one video on its own. And then now we're going to send the cylinder head out to get the valves done, and then obviously I got to do the pistons and everything else. I got to do the bottom end to upgrade it and start getting it back together. So, questions or comments? I already said it. Ask below. Clayton, anything else? Be sure to like and subscribe, as always.
Yep.
And remember, put what you think we're shooting for power in it in the comments. And
What about if people want that cool hat you got on there?
Well, they're not on our website, so.
All right, then never mind.
They're not gonna be able to get them right now.
We got hats, but you
Wait
just
till I
can't
add
buy
that. Yeah. See you in the next video.
Next video of this. Oh my. Figure it out in the comments.
So next, we'll figure it out in the net. We'll come up with an idea. You guys start putting some comments below.
Yeah. We'll pick a winner.
Well, we don't even know what we're gonna get for horsepower yet. So
Oh,
God,
yeah.
we can't say anything.
Oh, true.
Yeah, scrap
We don't
that
know.
idea.
Yeah, never mind.
We'll come up with something else.
Rewind.
Clayton, stop recording.